It is infuriating.
It's difficult to compose.
It's
myself.
infuriating. It's such a smack in the face. Like, why do you get to make me feel insane for identifying what this woman has said and done in her murdering a child that is hers? Welcome to another episode of the Carpe Fide podcast, where if the shoe fits, you wear it.
And if the truth hurts, you bear it.
I am Justin Gruber.
And I am Jesse Gruber.
And today we hope you will seize the faith. Welcome, everybody, to episode 223 of the... Wait, did you click record on Audacity?
Yep.
Hey, everybody, it's good to be here on the bop 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 doot bop dot doot dot bop dot bop dot. Anyway.
Oh, he's trying.
Did you help him with his... Did you tell him to follow through on the backswing, Mr. Beesneaks? All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 223 of the Carpe Fide podcast. Hey, Jess.
Hey, man.
What everyone doesn't know is we've been trying to record for about an hour now.
Oh, my gosh.
So, but we've made it. We're here. We're doing it live.
Satan doesn't want us to record this one.
But, you know what? My God's overcome Satan, sin, and death. And so we're recording. Well, we're going to hopefully, by the grace of our Lord, not go too long tonight, because we just have two little stories that are linked together, and they're very, 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 very important stories for Christians, for the world, for the cause of righteousness and morality, for us to understand how degraded our society and its understanding of morality is, how degraded our legal system is, and yeah.
I feel like it's getting to a point
so,
where the dregs of our Christian culture are waning. That's how bad I feel like it is.
Well,
because I feel like for a while, we're just like, well, we're living on the the remnants of our Christian culture. That's why things are still so good and there's hope. And I feel like the institutions are just eroding that by the minute.
I think the important thing to point out is the institutions are always downstream from culture. So right now, the institutions we have are still downstream, which was really bad. I do feel that there is a growing understanding of morality in a better way coming up. It's growing, and I think it's going to take it will take a while to actually seep in, to undo the malaise of righteousness that is not, it's just not in our systems. But I literally live in the only paradigm of God's word that actually allows for hope. So I'm hopeful that it will catch up, but nonetheless, and maybe we're talking so we're a little down, a little melancholy about it. But let's get into the stories, and maybe you'll understand why we're down. Let's just do it.
I was doing okay until you sent me that last one.
that I was like, yeah. Well, and we'll start there because this is the more recent. This is the more recent story. The other one's recent too, but it's recent, and then also 16 years old. So in Georgia, this is a surprising case that just came about. A woman has been charged with murder after she took the abortion pills to do at-home abortion. She did it wrong, by the way. Nonetheless, she also did it after what would be legal to have an abortion. She did it after it was legally okay for her to murder her baby in Georgia. So that's a problem. And
Whoops.
Also, the baby actually was born and lived and then died. So you have two kind of problems bumping heads there.
Lived, suffered, died, yes.
Yeah. Yep. So Georgia has essentially what is more or less a heartbeat bill, as it's known. So you're looking at about a 6-week window before you can detect heartbeat. And this woman, 31-year-old Georgia woman named Alexia Moore, was about 24 weeks along, or 20. Yeah, I said that right. Yes, I did. When she decided to take the abortion pills, she took two, had complications, had to call for an ambulance. The baby was born at the hospital and was suffering and then died. So you can see how there's like two actually legal avenues here where even if you wanted to unrighteously argue that one wasn't murdering intentionally, then the baby was born outside of the womb and then died. So this is, I don't know how this is anything other than murder, because hey, it seems kind of obvious. Both ways is very obvious. It is murder. But then you have things come out in the trial, like the Superior Court Judge Stephen Blackerby, Your Honor, Superior Court Judge Stephen Blackerby, who was in charge of setting the bond. He said, quote, "I think that charge is extremely problematic. That is going to be a hard charge to convict upon." So, So then, obviously, we must have doubt in the case.
It's like what? The law doesn't matter anymore? Like what? Like the initial article you sent me said she took eight of them, and opioids.
Yes, and opioids. Did she take 8? I thought another article I read said 2. Either way, she took more than was supposed to be taken. It doesn't say that she even spaced them out. She kind of just machine gunned a lot of pills all at once.
She really
to kill her child because she did not want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, she was very intentionally trying to kill her child. The Superior Court Judge Blackerby was in charge of setting bond. He gave her 2 drug related charges, so $1,000 each for bond on those, and then for the murder charge, he assigned $1. So
I'm just so angry.
So you can murder your baby. The judge can think that the charge is problematic, and then will only put $1 bond.
It gets worse. So she's quoted in the Fox article you sent me. An investigator wrote in the warrant that Moore told the nurses, "I know my infant is suffering because I'm the one who did the abortion. I want her to die."
Yeah. So how did she know the infant was suffering? Well, the infant was inside her and then outside her and suffering the whole time because she tried to melt
her.
it. She tried to chemically melt her child, and then it died. I don't know, like, how else intentional first-degree murder would go when you
with
did
malice and forethought.
Yeah, you did the murdering with a chemical, and you're quoted as saying, "I want her to die." You didn't say fetus or baby. You identified your female child. Like, there's she
who was
herself,
outside of the womb and living, trying to live.
The murderer identified this as my infant and her. So she identified this as her daughter. And she said, "I want her to die." And then the baby died as a result of her actions. Yet, even if a jury convicted her, I feel like this judge would not be sentencing her, because I don't know if he lacks the testicular fortitude.
He clearly does. He clearly doesn't care about women.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't care about women.
Certainly
Absolutely
doesn't
not.
care about justice.
No, nope. It's hard to fathom when presented with the obvious facts that this would be like. I mean, if you just put this in any other context, right? Woman tries to smother her 4-year-old daughter with a pillow. The child makes it to the hospital but has suffered so much trauma to her lungs that she dies. And you have the woman on record as saying, I know that that's my child. I want her to die. Then it would be different. What we're literally only talking about time. This is still her claiming her as her child and wanting her dead. There is no difference. It's a complete culture of death.
Really, I just feel
and
like
the fact that
I feel like she's the second
that
victim.
there is.
I feel like she's really the victim in this. You know, she didn't know any better.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what the judge thinks. The judge thinks.
And the pro-life organizations.
No,
They also think that.
It is infuriating.
It's difficult to compose.
It's
myself.
infuriating. It's like it's such a smack in the face. Like, why do you get to make me feel insane for identifying what this woman has said and done in her murdering a child that is hers? I shouldn't have to feel insane over that. This is so painfully obvious. I mean, the scriptures are abundantly clear. Life is life at conception, and it's God knitting that baby together in the womb, and it is a miracle, and we murder that miracle, and then we botch the murdering of that miracle so the baby is alive outside of the womb and still dies, and you admit to committing the murder, and yet in our legal system this is going to be difficult to convict upon. Like, we have the murderer, the motive, the weapon,
the jury,
the circumstance. I don't know. We don't have the jury yet. There's been no. She still has to be indicted.
Oh, I was
by
confusing.
a grand jury.
I was confusing the Gosnell case. I'm sorry. I was jumping ahead.
No, no. You're jumping ahead. She'll have to go before a grand jury. Now this is where it gets crazy. Is this evidence enough for a grand jury to actually indict on the murder charge?
Can I apply to be on the jury?
Unfortunately, no. You are not a jury. You would not be of her peers, for you are in New Jersey. Her attorneys praised the judge's ruling of $1 on the murder charge, saying, quote, "Today's decision is a reminder that justice is not served by accusation alone. Our system works best when courts carefully weigh the facts, uphold constitutional protections, and safeguard the rights of every person who comes before them." Yes, constitutional rights, like not murdering.
Unfortunately, the baby can't be the plaintiff because she's dead.
Yeah, you've robbed her of the ability to accuse you of trying to melt her with horrible, evil medical acid. You disgusting. Like, and like, how do you feel? And this is where I get so confused. We're supposed to feel compassion for this woman. This woman said, "I want the baby to die. I've done what I needed to do to kill the baby, and I want the baby dead." There should be a visceral reaction by anyone who remotely is in touch with any type of righteousness or any type of morality, because this is horribly evil and gross.
Yeah. I mean, as an ER worker, I can't imagine having worked this case. Like I like I mean I've seen cases personally similar. I've actually helped to get my hospital policies changed at the time, not where I currently work, but to the point where a baby was born practically fully developed. The mother claimed she didn't know she was pregnant, but the baby was certainly pretty far along, and we gave resuscitative efforts on the baby and failed ultimately. And I guess the way that it was stated, or some type of technicality, or the medical examiner, or whatever, just considered that baby products of conception instead of a human being. The argument was whether or not we make a chart for the baby. And I actually called. I never forget. I actually called my boss and I said this is wrong. I said I don't know what you can do to help me. I mean, she called everybody and their boss, and the policies actually changed to the point where, yes, of course, we make a chart for this human being that was born that we tried to save but couldn't save, and everyone was just telling us it was products of conception, when every human being in that ER that assisted in the situation knew that that was simply a very, very bad way to frame what had just happened. So I can't even imagine working on a 24-week old baby, and first of all, and then second of all, to have this story be the way it is would probably crush me for a good while.
Yeah, the police report, the arrest warrant police report says, quote, based on medical staff's knowledge that the baby had a beating heart and was struggling to breathe, that the baby was clearly beyond 6 weeks, based on the medical staff's knowledge, meaning the medical staff that were trying to help the melted baby, that the baby had a beating heart and was struggling to breathe. Just to get her quote on the record, because she sounds like an absolutely disgusting human being. Dana Sussman, the senior vice president of the advocacy group Pregnancy Justice, said no one should be criminalized for having an abortion. This case is, quote, an unprecedented murder charge for an alleged abortion. It's not alleged. She admitted to it with her own words. Again, quote, I know my infant is suffering because I am the one who did the abortion. I want her to die.
She don't know what the word alleged means. I hope our friends down in Georgia are all over this.
I mean, this is...
Nikki, Casey, go get them. Go get them.
I mean, seriously. And speaking of medical examiners that suck, the medical records said... Where is it? Oh, I just saw it. I'm a failure. Where is it? Where is his? He basically did the same exact thing. He was unable to determine the cause of death.
Why? Because there were so many. Like,
I mean,
was it the first methylprostone? Was it the second methylprostone? Was it the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth methylprostone? Was it the Percocet? Like, what was it?
I mean, the warrant said medical records estimated Moore had been between 22 and 24 weeks. It referred to Moore's fetus. No, baby. I'm sorry. We'll just use the regular English word. Said, quote, a human being who was born alive and survived for 1 hour. Under Georgia law, the victim became a person at the moment of live birth. I mean, we know that the victim became a person before the moment of live birth. But certainly after, you can't argue the baby was trying to breathe. I can't imagine. You're right. It must be so awful. And what kind of absolutely backwards world do we live in, where these medical professionals are saying, This baby has a heartbeat and is trying to breathe. This baby is more than 6 weeks, and this baby is certainly a living being trying to live. We're trying to keep it alive because it is alive. Like,
You know, and screw Access Aid, whoever gave this chick these drugs. Like forget you guys too. Like, they should be prosecuted too.
Andrew Fleischman says, murder is intentionally causing the death of a person. He said, adding that he and others warned before the law passed that a mother could be charged in a case like this. No, not in a case like this. This is the exact case for murder. This isn't a special case. This is murder. That's what this is. Even if you want to obviously blind yourself to the reality that there has never been a human pregnant with a dolphin. There's never been a human pregnant with a butterfly. There's only been a human pregnant with a human, and that's a human life inside of the human that's growing, the human. Even if you want to blind yourself to that reality, this baby was alive outside of the womb, struggling to live because it had been chemically melted by her mother. Who, if nothing else, by her own words, admitted personhood when she called her and her infant.
And then admitted murder when she said, I did the abortion. I want her to die.
I mean, Andrew Fleischman, again, who is a defense attorney in Georgia, said, quote, I'm not sure prosecutors are eager to be the first one to jump this hurdle, but I think it's a totally legally permissible case. I think they could do it. I'd be surprised if they go through with it. Why? Because we lack the fortitude to obviously identify what is clearly murder and clearly evil. That's what we're lacking in the society. And I do believe that when presented with the facts of this case, the vast majority of people that are here in this world would say, oh, well, what she did and what she said and the baby living clearly makes that baby a living being that she murdered. Like, it's just pretty obvious. It's you can praise abortion and still identify that this is obviously the reality of murder. There's nowhere else to place this other than murder. But it does bring to mind the famous conviction of Kermit Gosnell from our own backyard here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who was found guilty of murder in 2013 from the charges that were brought in 2010, because he basically ran a grotesque shop of horrors that I believe he referred to as the Family Medical Society. Like, if you don't remember who Kermit Gosnell was, you should just Google it. His name popped back into the news because on Tuesday of this week he died in prison at 85, which really bothers me because he got the dignity to die of old age that he literally ripped from hundreds of babies, possibly thousands. In 2010, the grand jury on this indictment wanted to charge him with 200 plus counts of murder, but they didn't have it. He didn't keep records, so there was no way to actually prove these charges or prosecute them in court. So they only were able to prosecute him with three that they actually had good evidence for that could get him convicted. And I mean, if I would encourage you not to read the transcripts, it is rough. I mean, there was one Mother's Day where he used a experimental procedure that was used by some abortionists in the Middle East to kill babies, where they basically made a small device that was fashioned with hundreds of very tiny looking razor blades that were compressed into a small ball that was lubricated with grease that was implanted then into the womb, and then as the body fluids ate the grease away, would then explode open and kill the baby. Ultimately, it's not a procedure that is generally used due to the reality that it actually like destroys the insides of the woman, like as one would freaking think when you do that. Like obviously that's what that does. You had women going through this that needed, I mean, he literally did this to 13 women, 9 of whom had complications, including some needing a full hysterectomy and a removal of their womb. Like, this guy was, like, bat nuts crazy. Like, he was a sick, sadistic, evil man, and he got the dignity to die of old age. And it was only because he kept his clinic in the most devastatingly disgusting. I mean, the reports of in the basement there were freezers and bags of bloody body parts, just a lot. The recounting of the FBI agents and police officers that were on the scene, like, was more than they could handle. It was as if a serial killer had been just butchering people for decades. And it turns out that's exactly what he was, a serial killer.
Yeah.
And he was convicted on all 3 counts, including another count of involuntary manslaughter, where a woman that he had done this to was overdosed on pain medication while getting an abortion at his clinic.
I just 30 years. Like, even that it's just retarded.
Yes. It says
in Gosnell's 30 years of running his filthy abortion clinic in Philadelphia, it is thought that he murdered thousands of babies born alive. The grand jury, which investigated his case, wanted to charge him with 200 recent murders, but the move was stymied and reduced to just 7 after pressure from senior political and law enforcement officials.
Yeah, which is to say, yeah, he should definitely be charged with all these. We can't prove them. Like, we have no way to prove them. We can't, like, why? Because all you have, like, the evidence of your eyes says you have bags and bags and bags of frozen and decaying body parts. Clearly, he should be charged with these. But here's the thing. We don't know if these were just the remains of perfectly, get this, legitimate abortions. That's a problem. I mean, that's your problem right there. There's no such thing. It's all murder. Every one of them. It's just murder. That's what it is. And because he was such a absolute idiot of a human being, he would inject the baby with the chemical to kill it, to stop its breathing. And often he would fail to kill the baby. The baby would come out. You had reports of these mothers / also murderers. This guy did one thing. He did 2 things. He was a pill mill, right? Which is why they actually were going to investigate this clinic until they found all of the body parts, all of the babies, all of the remains of babies in jars. It became something else. They thought it was just a pill mill. No, it was a house of horrors. It was a murder fest. So 2 things he was good at. Prescribing, like, I think it was something like 150,000 doses of drugs. Just prescribing them. You paid cash, you got a drug prescription. And also murdering thousands of children. Now, because he sucked, he would give them this drug. They wouldn't stop breathing. They would come out Mothers reported hearing their babies breathing sounds, making sounds on the table, and he would then snip their spinal cord at the base of their neck. That's what he did. That's what they convicted him on. So what would have been really, like, truly fair is for them to have taken the hours it would have taken to snip the base of his spinal cord. And that should be how every person feels when they hear about how disgustingly evil this man was. Now, truly, that would be torture and also evil. But he should not have lived. This man should not have been allowed to die of old age on the taxpayer's dime. We paid, I mean, I'm not in Pennsylvania, but the taxpayer paid to keep this man alive for 13 years in prison until he died of old age. Without any thought to the thousands of babies he killed. It would have been a grace to present this man with the end of his mortal life so that he could have dealt with the consequences of the eternality of what he did. And yet we didn't do that because that's how broken our culture is. And if they couldn't get this, if they could barely get this man on 3 counts, now we understand why there's going to be such a burden, such an issue, such a lack of strength against evil for this woman in Georgia who has verbally confessed to murdering her child, who died after being born alive. Somehow, I say somehow because when God makes life in the womb, it's a miracle. And for all that we hear about abortion, it seems really hard to kill these stubborn, annoying babies in the womb. Because they're made to live, to be alive, as God intended. So now we're presented with the reality that this woman who has confessed out loud to murdering her child possibly won't even see those charges, because they're going to see that, you know, we have a much easier case with 2 drug-related charges, and we'll, you know, at least we'll be able to get her on those, and probably won't be able to get her on a murder. So we'll just invest the time into things that we can do. Plus, I don't want to be the attorney that actually accuses a woman who's confessed to murder of murder because it involves the abortion drugs. I don't want it to be the attorney that's associated with prosecuting the first woman for murder when she was trying to commit an abortion. That's because you're using the wrong word. She was trying to commit a murder, and then she did commit a murder. It was all murder the whole time. Ugh, I'm sorry. I ranted.
No,
I was giving you grace. I was giving you grace because I know you're angry and I know you're not happy with any of this.
This episode sucks.
Sometimes the reality of what we have to deal with is important so that we can actually remember it. So we can remember that it is righteous to be angry at these things. And in being angry at these things, we need to carry that anger forward in truth so that we're communicating truthfully about these things. So that we're holding the stance that God holds, so that when we interact with people in culture, we have the fortitude, the courage to speak truth and righteousness, because that is the only thing that is loving in this case, is to speak the truth and to speak righteousness. That's always the only way to be loving.
I just hope this next generation raises up some strong legislators and judges and people who can actually be that first person that actually does something, you know.
And that's an exhortation to parents, really. Like, parents, these are hard things to talk about with your kids, and you don't have to go into details. But your kids are closer to the womb than you are. They understand. Children innately understand a baby in a mom's belly as a living person. And them understanding that now, you set that paradigm for them at a young age to cherish and value the lives that God gives. Have these conversations. Kids understand. This woman wanted to kill the baby that was inside of her. And that is horrible and sad and evil. And why would she want to do that? And these are the questions your kids will ask. Why would she want to do that? Because people are selfish and they don't want to be inconvenienced with having to sacrifice their desires for the needs of another person. And when you boil it down to that, it just sounds gross. Because that's all it is. Gross, prideful sin.
It's so bad.
So there's just, I know, I'm sorry. Maybe we should have put a warning on the beginning of this episode. Hey, super downer. I mean, I think we did. We were pretty angry. We didn't even talk about it yet. Hopefully that was enough of a warning. But truly, like, because something is difficult and hard doesn't mean Christians need to gird up their loins, right? We need to wear the belt of truth. We must, because it is what allows us to move forward. And we have to be clear on the truth. Because the culture, right, as we talked about, the system is infected with immorality. And the only way that that is going to change is if people that identify rightly the truth speak that truth to change the culture, which changes the systems. It's simplistic, but it's going to take work. And it begins today. And I wish there was like some sort of happy story I was going to like click over to and give you like a happy jolly thing. I didn't plan on giving you a happy jolly story. I think it's okay to end in seriousness with the weight and to sit under the weight. That's one of the joys of sitting under God's word, to going to church, being with people, is to sit under the weight of his word and his truth, because his truth is so powerful and we need to sit under it at times and deal with hard things. And as we record this, it was also the opening day of baseball. So, you know, hopefully you baseball fans got some baseball in, and maybe that's happier for you. Also, teach your kids the truth. Speak the truth to your friends and family. Don't lie.
And head on over to the brand new carpefide.com, which looks...
Wow. What a great segue.
Really cool. And buy yourself an abolitionist t-shirt.
Amen. Do that. Wear that shirt. Have those conversations.
If you don't have one,
them,
they're like a moving buddy. If you don't have one, get one.
Absolutely. And they're a really awesome looking shirt, by the way. I mean, you can dress it up with khakis. You can wear it with jeans. You can wear it with sweatpants. You can wear it at the gym. I've gotten comments at the gym in that shirt.
It is one of the more versatile shirts.
It is. So I said, yeah, definitely get that. Go over to Abolitionist Rising, support what they're doing. There's definitely ways to engage with this, but we must engage with it. We must engage with it. It starts with our own personal conviction, actually conforming it to God's word, and then teaching our families and our churches, and then having more people equipped to have those conversations inside of the communities in which we live. That's where it begins. So grab a shirt. Also, the website is awesome. Jesse was not underselling it. If you have gone to the Carpe Fide website before, you have not gone to this Carpe Fide website. No, it is totally revamped.
This one's way
It is
cooler.
totally awesome. Yeah,
you
it's
know,
like
I
infinitely cooler.
I was going to say, if you find the Easter egg on our website and send us a screenshot, I'll send you a sticker pack.
The Easter egg, by the way, is so awesome. It's so cool.
I have no idea how our friend Josh McGillis made it, but I mean, I have an idea. But the fact that it is made is absolutely crazy, and it's awesome. And you should find it and look really hard and find it.
I mean, it's really cool. So find the Easter egg.
I'm looking at it right now. It's just cool. Every time I look at it, it's just cool.
Yeah, so carpefide.com. Check it out. It's pretty awesome. It's new. It's way cooler than the website that your current podcast other podcasts you listen to have. Just saying. It just is.
This is definitely like the best podcast website I've ever seen.
It so is. And we do not deserve it. Josh, thank you. Thank
We
you
don't.
again and again and again. We do not deserve it. The Easter egg, by the way, if you find it, you will not be disappointed. In fact, you'll be like, wow, this was so worth it. I don't even need a sticker pack. I just want to be with this Easter egg right now because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Sign up for our newsletter too. We revamped that process. It's a little bit better now. We are planning on sending out emails, and we are planning on launching new shirts soon.
The new shirt that's coming is going to be so fun. I'm excited to see. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
It's
you should
be fun.
You should be.
It's actually a shirt we had planned for like a while, and then you kind of forget about it, and you're like, oh no, why do we, what happened to us? What did we do? Why did we do this? Let's go. Let's get it done. So anyway, that's that. But yeah, check out the website. Yeah, engage in culture, Christian. This stuff is like super important, and yeah, we need to end the culture of death. We need to be from the womb to the tomb Christians, and we need to engage with this reality because what God has given in life is a beautiful and sacred gift to be an image bearer. We must engage with it. So anyway, there's that. This is the end of episode 223. And as we say at the end of every episode, dear Christian, we hope that you this day would seize the faith.